Hey everybody, welcome back to Magic Orthodoxy. My name's David, and this is a Magic Review. Hey, today we're gonna look at Blade from Nicholas Lawrence and the other brothers. All right, Blade, what is Blade? Blade is a new release from Nicholas Lawrence. If you've watched my channel for any amount of time, you've probably seen me do a lot of videos for Nicholas Lawrence. He is a very prolific creator, very creative, very outside the box. This is the classic jigsaw card plot. Kind of feels like card warp a little bit, but not really. Or, sawing the lady in half. Now you can saw the lady in half in the palm of your hands. What you do is you have two face-down cards and a face-up lady card. And you stick that queen inside the two face-down cards, and the spectator can see it from both sides, and then you can just proceed to slide the card up and down, show the card as whole, and then with a wave of your hands, the card magically splits in half. Then you can restore the card, hand that card out for examination, and move on to your next table. All right, sounds too good to be true. Sounds awesome. You're gonna wanna carry this with you all the time. What's in the box? You order it, it comes to you in the mail. You're gonna get a little black paper envelope. Inside that, you're gonna get everything you need. You're gonna have the gimmick ready to go for the card trick that you see in the trailer. So the split queen card trick, everything will come ready to go that you need for that, including the two extra cards. In my set, I got two fives. But you could use two anythings. You could use two jokers. The beautiful thing about this is, as long as you use standard court cards, you can use any deck. If you're using standard courts, standard bicycle, run-of-the-mill courts, you can use any deck of cards, any back design you like. Plus, you're also gonna get the materials to build the business card illusion that you see in the trailer as well, but you will have to build it. Is it what I thought? No. I mean, he fooled me. I mean, I was kind of thinking it was gonna be jigsaw card, the old plastic, kind of like generic $2 magic trick, and it would be something along that line, but it wasn't, and I really enjoyed this solution. All right, so how are the angles and can it be inspected? Angles-wise, you can flash, you could. There's a couple of points where I think in the routine, you gotta be careful, and we'll talk about that a little later, but a lot is gonna depend on you lining everything up perfectly, and everything is sliding up and down perfectly. And you know what? That's just gonna take familiarity with the gimmick and practice. As far as inspectability, the trailer says everything can be inspected. Of course it can, as long as you ditch. Now, that's only if inspectability is important to you. It's not always important with me. I don't feel like everything has to be inspected. There was a day where every single thing a magician had was a gimmick and nothing was inspected. So it all depends on your audience management and your character. I am not the type of person that hands everything out for examination anyway. So it really depends on where you place this in your routine. I would probably say this could be an ending or an opener, and it's just a beat on the way to something else. So, inspectability, it is what it is. All right, so what's the overall quality and production value of the video? With the product, you're gonna get a download link. The video is roughly 26 minutes long. Nicholas Lawrence is seated at a black cloth table, and he has an upside down tie-dyed balloon backdrop behind him. He has no mic. As far as what he's gonna teach you, he's gonna go over what's in the box. He's gonna go over the initial presentation in 6 minutes. So of that 26 minutes, you will know how to do this trick in the first 6, okay? Everything else is gonna be more information. So he's gonna cover cleanup. He's gonna go over additions to the main handling. He'll cover some extra convincers, some tips, and some customization options. Then he'll go over how to build the gimmick for the business/credit card routine. You'll have to build all of that if you wanna do it. And then he mentions it also in the trailer too, right? Right before it says borrowed items. Obviously the borrowed items are business cards because that's where the text is in the trailer. If you wanna borrow all 3 items, okay, you will need to ring in the gimmick, and that will make the whole process a little more difficult. Is the gimmick well made? It is well made. It's made out of standard bicycle playing cards. I love the simplicity of this gimmick. I love how beautifully it hides. All right, so how much practice does this require? First of all, let's just say there's no slides. There's no slides involved. Pretty much everything you do, you see Nicholas do in the trailer. So you're just going to mirror his actions in the trailer. This is what you're doing. There's not a lot of funny business going on. And a lot of it is probably going to feel like the same kind of gymnastics you do in card warp. But this is just kind of like the more bionic man version of card warp. And let me just talk a little bit about my presentation and just how I do things, and maybe how I do it works for you, okay? What I did was I went out and bought an entire force deck of my queen card, okay? An entire force deck, 52 cards, duplicates of my queen. Then I made a 50-50 deck. Half the deck is standard, random cards on top, and then the bottom half, the lower half, is all queens, okay? I take my 2 jokers and I put them in my breast coat pocket, and I just say this is where I keep my jokers to separate them, to keep them away from the rest of the deck. Take my jokers out during presentation, lay them on the table after showing them, displaying them. Take my deck of cards out and say, let's get a lady to saw in half. I then go through the cards face up so the spectator can see that the cards are all different. And then I rotate the cards to face myself, and I go through and I out-jog one of the queens, but there's 25 in there. Take the queen out, table the deck, hand the queen to the spectator, and have them sign one of the short edges along the white space. And I explain that this is so that we can see their signature at all times. Then I go through the blade trick, up, down, cut, cut, cut. Remove the queen, re-pocket my jokers because that's where they saw them come from in the first place. So it's a natural movement to put it back where I took it out from. And then I hand the queen out for examination, and of course they can keep it because they signed it. And now I can do the trick X amount of more times because I've got my deck loaded. Then I never have to ditch, right? And I never have to hand my jokers out for examination. They get to feel like they examined the queen because that's where the heat should be. The heat should be on the card that split in half. And of course they signed it, and it becomes a wonderful souvenir. How much setup and reset is there? There really isn't a whole lot. I mean, once you set up your 2 duplicate cards, which is super easy, takes seconds, and you put it in your pocket or wherever it's going to go, you're good for the rest of the night. Unless you ditch it, and then you'll have to go off camera, reset it, and come back. But setup is seconds. If you build the gimmick, if you build the the business card gimmick, then yes, that'll take some time. Positives. All right, so what are the positives I can say about this effect? Blade is the final say in the jigsaw card plot. Now you've got a pocket miracle ready to go at all times that is sure to leave people scratching their heads. Negatives. All right, so what are the negatives? Like we say around here, there's negatives to everything. These are just the negatives that I see. They don't have to be the negatives that you see. The gimmick is a little snug. It's a little tight. And to get it to move as fluidly as you see Nicholas do in the trailer, that's going to take some breaking your gimmick in and practice on your part. Do this in a mirror. You don't have to do this for a friend. You can do this in a mirror. You're going to see right away your mistakes. And so kind of like card warp, kind of like jigsaw card trick, there's some ways that can not line up perfectly. There's some ways that it can flash. And so you're going to want to cover all of that in a mirror. Is it worth your money? It's $30, $30. It's a great gimmick. I think it's definitely worth your money, especially since you're getting 26 minutes worth of instruction. Who would like this? I think this is a great little pocket miracle for walk around. Street magic, definitely restaurant magic. This is a wonderful restaurant magic effect. This would also be cool for stage magicians who don't necessarily do close-up. So if you wanted to say, hey, you want to see my famous sawing a lady in half trick, but in close-up, this would be a really easy trick to carry around with you. All right, so that's everything I can say about Blade from Nicholas Lawrence and the other brothers. Of course, I want to thank Murphy's Magic Supplies for allowing me to have this so that I could do the review for you. And if you would like to purchase it for yourself, you can find it from your very favorite Murphy's Magic dealer. Thanks. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.